if I can just find the thingy. We're gonna go live. Boom. Oh, and I can also share this. By the way, we've already started, so I'm mumbling here at the beginning,
Okay.
which I feel is kind of traditional, till I get to the point where I say hello and welcome to anybody who's joined us, who is interested in learning about worker-owned cooperatives, how to set them up, and how possibly to not set them up. But this is a learning process, and I'm hoping that as I learn this, I share the learning process with everybody, and we all get to enjoy that. Now, uh, joining us today, we got Lauren and we got me. Hopefully, we'll have a few other friends join us along the way. But if not, hopefully this will be a quick but productive conversation, because I think both Lauren and I are ready to go out and enjoy the summer. And just in terms of, I think you mentioned before that your brain is full. I can appreciate that. My brain feels pretty full too.
Yeah.
Let me just see here. Looks like we're having some streaming difficulties. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds here. But like I was saying, today's going to be pretty informal. Just kind of, I think, continuing the conversation we were having with regards to starting the pet farm, the idea of starting the, like just picking up on some of the conversations we were having online, which I think were kind of neat and interesting, and just teasing them apart a little bit, and maybe you can speak to how, like, even permaculture as a philosophy would speak to this sort of thing about, parallel development of different ideas, sort of idea, because I think there must be some kind of overlap there. Um, uh, but perhaps before we get into that, we should give a little bit of a foundation to what we were talking about, just in case anybody does happen to listen to this stuff. And I guess to that, how should we go about this, do you think?
Well, why don't we chat a little bit about how we've um, developed the pitch, just to make it
Oh,
like really
yes.
clear and concise. Like, because if someone's watching today for the first time, maybe that would be a good place to start.
Excellent. So the 10-100 is 10 businesses, 100 members. Um, that's the opening for pretty much every pitch I start with. And then, depending on who I'm talking to, the context and what comes next changes. Um, I want to be upfront about any expectations and sort of costs that are involved. So one of the things I want to gotta get in there right up front is the idea of the $100 a month membership fee, that then becomes the pool of capital from which we then start these businesses that the 10-100 is based around. Um, if I'm feeling particularly philosophical and heady, I might then start talking about the idea that we have three different kinds of businesses to reflect the different kinds of ways we want the 10-100 cooperative to touch our lives. So we've got the surplus-based businesses, and of the surplus-based businesses, we have 10 core businesses, and those are the foundation around which the entire enterprise is built. Those are designed to unapologetically make more money, to get more out of them than it costs for us to put into them. That's where we're going to go put our hours in during the day to go earn our bread and butter, as so to speak. And yeah, it's anyway. So that's that. Um, hmm. Now, yeah.
Can I
So
share what I wrote down?
yes, please.
Just since we're mostly focused right now on reaching other people with ideas,
Mm-hmm.
people with entrepreneur experience or they're entrepreneurial minded. So I was looking at how we can make this really concise in order to promote in certain areas. So, like, for example, I still really think we need to reach out to the climate action team.
Yes.
We did once. It's worth doing again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a matter of communicating it more effectively so
Mm-hmm.
people can see what their role would be if they were to get involved.
Okay.
So forgive me here, it's just a little bit messy, but I'll try to put this into complete sentences.
No worries.
So, like, if this was an ad that we put on either CAT or another group that's interested in active democracy.
Yeah. Like 350 Grey Bruce or something.
Yeah, exactly. So looking to collaborate with entrepreneurs and entrepreneur-minded individuals with the intention of creating a worker-owned cooperative. Our chosen business model benefits entrepreneurs by providing upfront funds to start operations while dispersing financial risks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to find my next sentence.
Upfront costs, dispersing
okay, here it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Our aim as the cooperative is to pool resources and skills to address shared social, environmental, and economic issues while keeping more wealth within our community. And then I started doing a little bit of sketching out of values, or value system, because that's something in the YouTube videos that you shared, the workshop on cooperatives. I got through maybe the first 4, and of course MEC is always, or Mountain Equipment Co-op is always the one that sticks out to me. As a cooperative. It's very popular. But I didn't exactly understand their reason for having the client membership part. So when you shop at Mountain Equipment Co-op, you have to buy a $5 membership. It's
That's
a
right.
one-time fee. Some companies have cooperatives have a annual membership fee. That's not in the case of Mountain Equipment Co-op. It's just one time. But I better understand the value of that membership fee now in order to assess buy-in of the clients, because what that allows them to do then is sort of ascertain, like, whether there is a market for specifically ethically sourced outdoor gear. Right? So it almost is like an agreement or an investment in the business that says, yes, I'm going to shop here because you've paid the membership.
Yep.
So,
and if you buy there a lot,
obviously you want to be a client.
Yeah, and if you buy there a lot,
does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's my understanding that if you buy there a lot, you get returns. Like, you get to be a part of their like they share their profits with the customers that end up investing a lot more in their company as members. That's my understanding.
Okay.
So if you buy with them more, you get more back, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So like what I enjoy about that um, is the fact that the client members are investing in the ethics.
Mm-hmm.
They're investing in the values of the company
Mm-hmm.
by paying that membership fee.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So then it becomes really important for us to do our research around the values that we say we have in order to be providing the best product.
mm-hmm.
And if the product doesn't, like if there's a competitor that is, say, more ethical or has better organic practices or whatever criteria we want to base this around, then perhaps we'd be moving to source
Mm-hmm.
something more sustainably.
Yeah. and
So
and
that's our commitment then to our membership,
yeah.
or at least in
And
the case of Mountain Equipment Co-op, that's the commitment that they make to the members that are investing in the membership fee.
we
At
could
least that's
set
the
it
way I
up.
see it.
Yeah, we could set it up so that our cooperative, that would be worker owned and run. So if you got 4 videos and they haven't quite getting to the point where they start talking about worker cooperatives, where the people have the voting shares, and
I lost you there.
oh, sorry, was it volume or did I become a robot?
You froze.
Yeah, I keep getting
You're still
indicated
frozen.
that I. Oh, I'm still frozen? How am I now? I can just twiddle my thumbs until the video syncs up again. Am I good?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Actually, we'll just give it a 30-second, or maybe a 10-second pause, and just sort of like give it a bit of silence, some time to sort of buffer for a bit. So I hear that helps. Now I've gone and totally forgotten what it was I was going to say.
We were
Uh,
talking about the client membership.
that's right. So yeah, we would. There's no reason that I can see where, um, like, we couldn't create a consumer-based cooperative as a fledgling or like a sub business of one of our other business of like our big cooperative, and then that allowing people membership in that one area would give people potential membership in other areas of access to the cooperative, so we can start using that to then the membership fees that the public who are not worker members of the 10100 but are wanting
Stakeholder.
to, yeah, they're people who want to, like you say with the MEC, uh, want to become members because they want to back that ethically sourced company, and they want to put their money where their values are, right? And if we have people in our local area who aren't necessarily interested in becoming worker members, but like the idea and want to invest in it in that sort of way, so that they can get the kind of perks that you would get, like you do with MEC. We would offer perks, and now I'm thinking about our little grow up scheme with the vegetables and such.
To call it that. I
Yeah,
mean, it could be,
it's
but
medicinal
I would need
carrots.
tomatoes.
Yeah, medicinal carrots. Yes, right. Although one of the other things that we've wanted to do, or we've discussed in the past, is actually having a cannabis grow operation within the 10
Oh
100.
yeah.
Something that, because like, we've got people who grow on the peninsula. We've got strains that are unique to this area that I think the world is ready for, as far as I'm concerned. And I would love to have a steady supply of, but that's beside the point. Um, no, seriously though, the strain Sirius 6 is a very hardy strain. It leaves you. If I could get that, I could probably focus on every little bit of homework and get so much done. It's one of those high focus, high motivational type strains. Anyway, enough with the ad for Sirius 6. Anyway,
I want to mention something further about the about pooling, having the additional pool of money from
oh,
client members. Just another example. Again, I was living in Guelph at the time, and there was a restaurant that was trying to open up, and they were looking for. I think they got at least 100 people to invest, some chunk of money,
mm-hmm,
whether it was $100, $200 or so upfront,
mm-hmm,
and then they actually got all that money returned to them
mm-hmm,
as
yeah,
in food and service. So if you invested $100 in the business, then once they opened, you could go in and have a $100 meal, or total bill.
mm-hmm,
So you're getting exactly the same amount of money. If you're going to be going out and eating anyways, you're getting that all back, but you're paying it up front in order to help the business get established.
and that's kind of like, so obviously the 100 members is a total community crowdfunding idea,
Oh,
and oh, sorry, I was just going to say, building on that idea, like the 10100 itself is a kind of community crowdfunding idea. um,
mhm.
it's just a closed Kickstarter community of people that are like, yeah, we are going to be committed to investing $100 a month into a pool that's going to become the pool that we then use to start these businesses. And it's not a small pool. It becomes like $10,000 a month. And we, over 3 months, when we meet every quarter, we review our finances. So every quarter we're going to have an extra 30 grand in the bank that we can then review and decide what we do with it with.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and if and the other thing I was thinking as well with the community membership, um, those membership dues would then go to offsetting the operating costs of, say, our if we can't call it a grow up, what can we call it?
I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that, unfortunately, I mean, this is a conservative area. Calling it a grow up is going to turn a certain demographic off.
Hmm.
Just right away, hearing that word, it's unfortunate.
I blame the Mike
I don't
Harris
know. I don't
conservative
know what else
government.
to say. Like,
Yeah, no, that's fair.
yeah,
But at the same time, like, as conservative as this area is, like, when we see the turnout to like things like Pride and things like the Black Lives Matter march,
yeah,
where we're in like thousands of people, and that's just the people who are willing to come out. That's not including all of the other percentage of people that are sort of on the sidelines going,
yeah,
I tacitly support, but not enough to get off the couch. you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Grow up. Okay, grow up. Opportunity.
ooh, I like that.
Instead of grow operation.
Yeah.
Um. Oh shoot! I had another thought there. Oh yes. Maybe about pooling ideas again and potentially a source of workers. I mean, we've talked about different demographics that might be become involved, like
Mm-hmm.
like especially within ODSP, right? Like that there's individuals there that cannot work a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. But having that source of pretty much regular hours, you know, you can up a few hours one week, you can do a
Mm-hmm.
lot less hours another week if you really need to.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's worth um, trying to get more voice, elevate more voices in that demographic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've started very small here with about 4 or 5 people,
Yep.
or so meeting regularly. So, um, like, my thought is, what about, for example, what about community living? What about
Yeah.
CMHA
Mm-hmm.
and asking their clients, what do you want to see in this community?
Yeah. And
Right? Or
yeah.
what would you want to work at? What is your idea for creating a business? I
Exactly. Ooh,
maybe.
what was that one thing I wrote down earlier in our Facebook conversation? Uh,
Oh boy.
it was a keeper, whatever it was.
Oh yes. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go back and look. We'll take. There's something there about it being a good plug. Um, shoot.
Let's see here. Ooh, there we go. The 10100 is just a way of raising capital for us to start our own businesses. If money and backing is the issue preventing you from starting your business, the 10100 is the solution.
It's the solution.
Boom. And it really is. It's by incorporating and we spread the risk. We can nobody's house is on the line. The only
Yeah.
thing that we're on the risk for is the $100 a month that we're putting in. You
Mm.
and there's a plan that if everything goes belly up, um, uh, that's fine. We don't freak out. We just cut our losses and we start liquidating things and we pay out things, and best case scenario, liquidation brings us out on top and we get more money out of it than we put into it, and we just kind of split it out evenly. More likely scenario is we won't get the $100 a month that we put into it back to us, but we'll get some money back based on what we can liquidate
Right.
and sell. And that's kind of our exit strategy. Um, if we do have one, so there is one in case things do start failing. We do have a way of landing gracefully and without crashing horribly. And that's an important thing to think about, I think, because that again is one of those pitfalls in business, especially if you're starting it alone. You have to raise up all the money yourself, or be born into it somehow, and be able to afford to then lose that money and lose that money for years on end before you see a return. And This is not so dissimilar principle, only we're owing the money to ourselves, and instead of having to come up with 50 grand myself to come up with a business, all I have to do is keep putting in $100 a month for a couple of months, maybe a year or two, until my business comes up on the list, and then I start my business, and then I get to have a business, my dream business that I get to run now, for $100 a month for a couple of years. Well, for ongoing, because that's my membership fee. But at that point, I've got the job. I've got the income. I've got the lifestyle. I've got the things that make life worth living. Ooh, which is another good tagline. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the other thing that should maybe be on the record for others is what we chatted about with the Social Enterprise
Mm.
Network of Central Ontario, which is a collaboration with the Georgian College Center for Changemaking. So they have resources accessible for students, former students, as well as just individuals in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, like all sorts of business resources and mentorship, some workshops. And my understanding from, like, I was looking into this over a year ago, um, and there is, I think, a list of people in this area. Well, yeah, obviously it's a
Mm-hmm.
network. Um, a list of people in this area that are doing similar things
Yes.
that then would make really good mentors because they've just been through it all before.
Mm.
Yeah. And I mean, Georgian College has a lot of great resources on hand in this area as well. I mean, that center, they've gone through a few phases of this center, but the, I don't know, like the collection of programs that they have, especially with social work and business,
Mm-hmm.
just makes the center like a no-brainer. I'm so glad it got started up. Um, and it's a great resource for the community. So let's take advantage of that. There might be a little bit of a fee. They were telling me, since I'm an alumni, that they might be able to waive that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Right, indeed. And even if there is a fee, there's there's enough of us now that we might all be able to like chip in like $5 or something to be able to cover it,
right.
and in order to be able to access something like that, and which is the whole point of the sort of like networking. It's kind of like individually might not be able to cover it, but a bunch of us together, might be able to get it. One of us can go learn and then bring it back and share it with amongst the group, sort of thing. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
breaking any rules or anything, but hey, needs must.
Mhm. Yeah, and in terms of like going and sort of surveying, uh, what people want to see in the community, that could be directed by the SWOT analysis that we talked about. So,
Mm.
analyzing the strengths and weaknesses in the community, opportunities that are there, as well as threats. Sort of get a sense of um, what might be missing,
Mm-hmm.
but has potential to take off. Um, I'm like, I mean, that's sort of a social work tool in community organizing. Um, I
And
wonder if that is that the same as market research, though.
I mean,
Like, we might need a little bit more more specific statistics
it'll be a
for in
start
terms
though,
of market
right?
research.
Because this is
Yeah.
demographic information, right? This is sort of the income
Yeah.
levels, and this is sort of okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So all that will
Yeah.
be valuable no matter what businesses we end up attracting into the 10-100. Um, and again, we really like, for my money, a more diverse business representation that we have, the better. So that we have, seasonal businesses, we have yearly businesses, we have businesses that cost money all year until you get to, like, say, the harvest. At which point you then make all your money back. Knock on wood, or something. Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow that away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and then I mean, there's always there's task groups in Owen Sound. I believe there's been one I mean, I barely hear anything from them, uh, but there is a food security task force of some sort. So if we are actually looking to, have more fresh produce developed
Mm-hmm.
or grown in the city limits,
Mm-hmm.
then that would be like they are going to have the research on what neighborhoods are underserved or have issues. accessing fresh
Mm-hmm.
food.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, jeez. I feel like I should be
I
taking
got them
notes.
written down.
Oh, you got that
I
written
got
down?
them
Okay,
written
good.
down. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this past week has been a bit of a gong show for me as well. Between I think it was like last conversation I was having the panic attacks on that Monday, and actually I felt like I was on the bit of an uptick from like about a month and a half long depressive episode. So, and I still hope that I'm on the bit of that uptick. So, again, knock on some more wood. Uh, but unfortunately, it's also happened at the same time that it's been my responsibility to be the full time primary caregiver to my children. Which, let me tell you, the 3-year-old is a force to be reckoned with. He's ended up in the newspapers. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, and mostly under the anonymous heading of toddler went running off into the woods. At any rate,
Oh,
yeah,
really? Oh,
yeah, he's
yeah.
exciting. He'll keep you on your
Oh, right.
toes.
I feel like I read that article too.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. That must have been a huge ordeal.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a fun week. Let me tell you.
Oh,
And yeah, he's got no fear of this one. Anyway, so that to say, I only got a very little into the homework assignment that we kind of all went through to go through the how to set up stuff. Um,
yeah.
which so we'll just graciously postpone that to like next week or something. But it
No,
would
that's
be.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we also chatted a little bit about uh, expertise, the certain expertise that we'll need to like incorporate and
Mm.
balance the books and everything. So, like that resource that you provided us with mentioned legal
Mm-hmm.
expertise as well
Mm-hmm.
as accounting or bookkeeping. Um, and I I think again I'm gonna look into Senko a little bit further, and hopefully they'll email me back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that might be something that they're able to connect us with.
That would be great.
Yeah,
And yeah, let's. Okay, so okay, so then let's connect with Senko. Let's see if we can set up some sort of meeting or something, or find out when their next gathering is.
yeah. I'm
And
again like
mhm.
COVID. I have
Right,
no idea what's going on because of that. Like, um, shoot.
COVID
I
freakout
have a
phase.
feeling that they're not going back to class.
I mean, that's the smart.
I don't think they are.
That's
Sorry?
the smart. That's the smart move. You know.
Yeah, but then things online, I'm guessing everything is going to continue that way. Yeah.
So either way, and again, I think there's an awful lot that we can do with things like this. If we can have a couple of conversations with them, exploring some of these ideas, while at the same time we can work with other people in the background. Like again, I had a conversation with my friend. We'll we'll give him the code name because I don't want to out him unnecessarily without his knowing. So we'll call him Bob. So Bob is uh, I don't know what he does for a living. We haven't had that conversation yet, but he knew a little bit about worker owned cooperatives. So I use that as a springboard to start talking about this, and he's interested. And I think most people, like again, we've said before, this is an idea whose time has come. And I think finding 100 members is going to be relatively easy. In fact, depending on what we get going here, if we get the right people with the right ideas, again, going back to finding the people who have an idea but just don't have the money or don't have the backing or the know how. Um, and then just attracting the kind of people who do have the know-how. Because one of the other aspects of the vision I guess I had for the 10100 would be that we would have people who were retirement age. I don't know. Did I talk about this before? Where
I don't think we've mentioned, sorry, the retired
yeah,
demographic.
yeah. So we
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
retired people who, their job is basically to give us the benefit of their experience. Like I'm thinking like people who were entrepreneurs or even the capitalist class, the dreaded capitalist class or what have you, and but who are good, decent, hardworking people with a lot of business experience and are amicable to what we're trying to do. They're out there. I'm sure they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
And we don't need a lot. Maybe two, three, at most. Hell, even
We will
one.
be.
Yeah.
My guess is that we'll be competing with not-for-profits because that's who they look for to sit on their boards often. Like especially like
Oh,
a
sure.
lawyer or an accountant. So we'll just make sure that we have our ducks in a row, I think, at that point, so
Oh,
that we
yes.
can really clearly articulate why they should consider being part of our group.
Well, and the more businesses we have planned, like what
Yeah,
right at the
yeah.
moment we have two on the board, and we got my flagons and dragons. We have a couple of potentials, but potential businesses aren't necessarily going to be the core businesses. The core businesses are going to be our money makers. They're going to be the solid business plans, and so that's what I'm really looking for. So one of the proposed ideas, tattoo parlor, which relatively low investment in terms of equipment costs and building the location, and then it's just your insurance, your liability, and you're covering people. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point of the matter is, it's a good idea. Plus, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop myself here because I'm about to go into all the weeds of stuff. Um, and I think the point of the matter is, if we can, the current thinking is if we can get the businesses on that list, then we'll have people. We'll have something that we can then attract people to. We can say, could you see yourself working on a farm, or for
Mm,
like 3 days out of the week, and over the weekend, do a 4-hour shift and cover bussing tables, at
mm.
a restaurant or something. Like this is
Yeah.
kind of and if that's something that, and then I was thinking once I get to this stage, I would go on a spur of like getting like part-time jobs at a whole bunch of different box stores and stuff throughout the area, and just finding out who all the good hardworking people are and kind of headhunt them and
And
say,
steal
hey,
them.
have you ever thought about going into business for yourself, becoming a worker owner, so to speak.
Yeah.
um,
Value Village.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, have we talked to? I'm sorry, Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah
Sarah
Goldman.
Fowl. Which one?
Oh no no no. She she joined us the one day. I think it's Goldman.
Yes.
She joined us the one day.
Mm-hmm.
Now she
Yes.
was interested in the consignment store, right?
Yes. Yeah.
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 I still
So.
think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
However, I want to just mention one thing, one concern, and that would be perhaps one of our anchor businesses should really be COVID proof. So depending if we go backwards in phases, or certain services are being restricted again,
Mm-hmm.
we want to make sure that we don't fall into that category.
So having something like a food-based business might, yeah, like or a restaurant
Yeah,
might be risky,
yeah,
but like having like
exactly.
doing agriculture, that's kind of essential,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And consignment, I wonder if it could operate entirely online too. So
Oh
you have
yeah.
an online store, maybe you do some really good photography, but then all of your um, all of your delivery, or yeah, I guess they'd be deliveries, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
pickups, curbside pickups. But you could essentially shop on the website. Another note,
Hmm.
oh my goodness. Okay, so Facebook Marketplace pisses me off. It takes so much time. It takes so much time to like do the photography, and then you sit there on the forum answering most stupid questions about like, I mean, they've already been answered 5 times about what size it is, does it come in a separate color? I'm selling apple pies, but I'm being asked if I have cherry pies. Like, um,
And then,
yeah,
yeah.
so for people that don't want to do that, that just don't want to be bothered with um, advertising what they're selling, then having a place where you could say like drop it off and someone else takes care of all that part of it
The We Sell Your Stuff
would
on
be
eBay
really
store.
cool. Sorry?
With the We Sell Your Stuff on eBay store.
Yeah, sort of like that. So maybe there's, I don't know, we give you a, someone dropping stuff off would maybe get 30% of whatever we could sell it for, or
Mm-hmm.
40%. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way that consignment stores usually operate,
I like it.
but entirely online. I wonder if that's doable.
You'd have to do it right.
Yeah.
And it would probably only really be worth it if you could get either volume sales, which, I mean, that's one thing. Could be labor intensive. The other way would be through using expertise to find the things that we can buy cheap and then or get cheap and then turn around and sell
Yeah.
for a lot because they're worth a
Yeah.
lot to the right people.
Yeah.
Um, which, I mean, that to me right at the beginning sounds like an amazing setup for like a short story or like a novel or something. But hmm.
How so? I don't know if I follow.
Oh well, just like it's like the setup is you've got a group of people, the eccentric kind that would start a cooperative in order to be able to go around and find hard to find things that so that they could turn
Yeah.
around and sell it to people with ridiculous amounts of money for ridiculous amounts of money, and you could almost put a TV crew with those people and just follow them around and just it would be interesting. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Um,
Yeah. Well, even like what do they call it? Upcycling or
mhm.
repurposing. Like you could do really neat stuff with furniture and make it like, totally hip again,
Oh yeah.
right? And someone will pay much more than you picked it up for.
Yep. True.
Um, I think I spoke about the group in Barrie that was similar to CAT, or similar to Graeber's Sustainability Network.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a thrift store. It was all clothing,
Mm.
but they taught people how to sew. So some of the stuff that would come in was too damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Really damaged stuff actually got sent to a place that made car seats.
Okay.
So that was the stuffing in a car seat. They
Interesting.
sell it bulk to this company, but then other things that could be sort of fixed up,
Yeah.
they taught people how to do that, or like, you take 3 sweaters and sort of stitch them together, and it's a skirt, or it's now a purse or something like that.
Interesting. Do you know what it was called?
It was called, I believe it was called Off the Rack. Off
Interesting.
the Rack.
There,
And they had a section that was completely free. So they were partnered with these shelters,
hmm.
and any shelter clients clients would get like a card from the shelter, and then they could go into the store and show their card and just, shop around and then leave with what they've picked out for free.
Lovely. And
Yeah.
I was inspired. This is part of what I want to do when I get the 10100, or when I get my Flagons and Dragons store up and running. I want to have a pay it forward menu as well. Or like,
Yes.
people can, in addition to buying like a lunch thing, they can also, like, for $5 added to the meal, they can pay for, someone else's meal as well. And then we
Yeah.
could have, and this is based on a meme I saw, and I don't even know if it's true, but it was based on like some sort of cafe in Italy which had this on their menu so that people could come in, people who had money, lawyers, doctors, that sort of thing, and
Mhm.
could, when they ordered their espresso and their whatever, they could also add this to their meal, and then so homeless people would then come in and ask if there was a meal available, and if there was, then they would be given the meal.
Beautiful.
And it was like a soup sandwich and a coffee, warm drink sort of thing, right? And
Mhm.
yeah, and
I
they
like
had
that.
yeah, they got to sit down in a booth. They got to enjoy a meal, and yeah, and so that's the sort of thing that I'm inspired by. I would love to have something like that, at the Flagons and Dragons sort of thing there. So we can have like a lunch
Yeah.
meal and a dinner combo sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was even thinking, you could have like a pay it forward program as well, where if you can't afford the meal or whatever, but you don't want to just receive a free meal, no problem. Um, you can the way you earn your next meal is you've got to bring in somebody else or something like that to gift a meal to or something. I forget. I wrote it down. I should review that. Anyway, point of the matter is, I've lost it.
I'm gonna have to let you go very soon here. I'm just wondering if maybe we can wrap up a few things. So this week, I would really like to um, take the time to go through the rest of those videos
Yeah, they're great.
myself.
Yeah, because
Um,
sorry.
and then I am reaching out to Sunpro, and I'll look over their website, see if there's any resources on there that we can use right away.
Yeah.
But hopefully they can get back to me, and we'll see what they're doing now during COVID.
And if there's any availability for, like, if they're open to like meeting with us, I'm definitely open to meeting with them.
Okay.
And if that's something that's available, like they're just sitting around looking for people to come talk to them, um, let's go talk to them.
Yeah. So if we were to meet with them, is there like I'm expecting it's going to be during the day.
hmm
Is there a weekday between 9 and 5 that works for you?
Yeah, Wednesdays are out. I can tell you that.
Right.
Tuesdays are during the day are generally good. Mondays during the day are generally good. And same with Thursdays and Fridays. Pretty much any time after 9 o'clock on any of those days is fine.
Okay, so not Wednesday.
Nah, but yeah, but Wednesday is my. I tried to start a business called Dungeon Master for Hire, or RPG for Hire, I should say, and it was fun. And unfortunately, my brain broke at the same time I was trying to get it off the ground. So it happens. Learning a lot, and I did get a couple of games that got started though, and so one of those things that's ongoing is on Wednesdays, and so that starts at 11. So it's very difficult to get things going beyond that. And now the internet knows that, so that's my deep dark secret. Yes, I was a dungeon master for hire, and I'm proud of it. Our rates were very reasonable.
When we were typing away earlier, I noticed there was a few ads right after that on Facebook to do with what we were talking about.
I
So,
know.
like, F off, Facebook, really?
I sometimes I don't mind because I've actually found some really interesting resources that way. I think I've stumbled across the Ontario Co-op. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
targeted, yeah, through that, through targeted advertising. So it works sometimes.
Well, Facebook is telling me that I need multiple burrito blankets. I, no.
How did burrito blankets come into play? Oh, jeez.
Huh?
Oh, does anyway, burrito blankets?
Yeah, it's a round blanket that looks like like a tortilla.
I mean, that sounds delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little ridiculous, though.
It's not in the budget. Okay, so I'm gonna look into the rest of those videos and then
Hmm.
contact Sunco. And if I have any questions or thoughts, I'll just reach out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let's. Did you look into installing Discord or something on your tablet or on your phone? Because it will work on both
Oh,
of
okay.
those. Um, Quite
It's
well,
an
actually.
app, is it?
It is. And
Okay.
that link I sent you earlier, I can send it to you again if you get the Discord app in there. But that can become a place I can create channels where we can drop in links. So we can create a channel for the with the SEC, whatever the rest of the acronym is, um, the group that we're contacting.
Oh, Sunco. Yeah.
Senko, that's it. Yeah, Senko. That's it. Senco, right. Um, so we have like a group specifically devoted to that. So all the notes related to Senko can kind of go in there or links and things. And then we have
Oh, right. Okay.
um, we
Yeah.
can have like a channel devoted to say CMHA or community living.
Like demographic
Yeah,
market
or like
research.
yeah, and anything that we're like reaching out to. We can have one for Flagons and Dragons. We can have one for growing opportunities. We can have one, and so anything that we come up with, uh, we can have one for developing um, ways of packaging the elevator pitch, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if like today when we were typing away on Facebook, we get to the point where typing is just like too muddlesome and walls of texts are awesome, but 5 minutes in between is a little too whatever. We could like jump
Okay.
onto something like the onto the vocal server, and we can just talk it out like this, you know
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and it can even be if it's a really good sort of brainstorming session, I can even upload it to YouTube, so for posterity, so we don't even have to necessarily make notes. We can just record our meeting and watch it later, sort of thing. So
Hmm.
which is good for brainstorming. So
Yeah.
lots of possibilities.
Okay.
So I'll develop that this week, and I'll keep you in the loop for that. And I'll get Laura and Gavin to get onto that. My brother's already on there, and he's somebody who hasn't joined the Discord app, or sorry, the Zoom call before. Um, but he's somebody, when I think of like having a marketing division, he would definitely be somebody I would have in the graphics department.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, okay.
Primarily because that was his job before COVID destroyed it. So fun.
Okay.
But yeah, Lauren, has anyone reminded you that you're awesome yet today?
You did earlier when we started the call.
Yeah,
So
very true.
thank you. You
Yeah,
are too.
and I did like to. It's my little counter-revolutionary thrust against Madison Avenue. I had this crazy idea decades ago now, which is crazy. Now that I think about it, where advertising is always just trying to get you to feel bad about your current circumstances so they can sell you the solution. And wouldn't it be awesome if instead of being told that you're not, but you could be with this. Wouldn't it be awesome if people were just told that, you know what, as you are, you're already awesome. Good job. You don't have to buy anything. You're good.
Inherently.
Right?
Inherently awesome.
By virtue of being a human being, by virtue of being alive, by virtue of having hopes, dreams, loves, and all that other good stuff, you're amazing. So just take it and enjoy it, pass it along. And that's been my guerrilla warfare for as long as I can remember now. So.
All right. So we got our work cut out for us.
Oh my goodness! And can I just say thank you for being a part of this and for showing an interest, because this gives me excitement that it will go from being a harebrained dream in my idea in my head to something that helps us all. Like, can you imagine when we get to a point where we've got a housing cooperative that's built and designed from the ground up with permaculture in mind? Like, I get excited, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I look at the Black Clawson Kennedy site and I think, oh, you just wait. We're going to get some soil reclamators in there. We're going to detoxify that place, and we're going to turn it into something amazing. Just you wait and see. It'll be our own little village within the city. It'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one possibility at any rate. I put it up to it, but...
You know, it's definitely, like, maybe that's another way to pitch this to other entrepreneurs is you get a team, right? You get a team that's going to help you motivate and push your idea forward.
Yeah.
And I think it is, well, there's synergy there, right? And being able to take a breath and step back and knowing that other people are there is a really good selling point.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be able to do this on my own because of I don't know, it just helps to have people supporting you.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're all in this together, you know. And if anyone has actually watched to this point, you're awesome too. And thank you again for joining us. I'm gonna go stop the stream now because that's the thing I can do. So don't forget, you're awesome.
You're awesome.